لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أما بعد طيب إن شاء الله يا إخوة. Last week we covered some of the ayat relating to which sifat of Allah, which attributes of Allah.
Was it on Wednesday?
Last Tuesday.
That's a long time.
Long time ago. Okay. If you don't come to the class, do you listen to the talk? Yeah, you do, yeah? Yeah, okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, what was the Mahabba, okay. Attributes of Allah al-Mahabba. We covered some of the verses. Okay, what are the three words we use to indicate love of Allah? Three words, sifat of Allah. One Mahabba, other one is? La. Khulla. Last one? La, not bir. Mawadda. Mawadda. So these are the three attributes of Allah. Okay, they mean that Allah, the one who has attributes of love. Tayyib. Now, out of these three, which is specifically for higher indicate?
Khulla is higher.
Khulla. Tayyib. So, can we say, is it okay to say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Habib of Allah, Mahabba, he loves him, Habibullah, Ibrahim Khalilullah, Musa Kalimullah. Is this phrase okay? Why not?
Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has a higher status.
Okay.
Which is also Khalil.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. But if we say Habib, what's wrong with that?
It's not befitting of his.
No?
It's true, but when you word it like that, it's as if he's not Khalil, but he is Khalil.
Khalil, I think the title was given only to two people, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Okay.
And it's like above Habib, so
okay.
Just.
Okay. So if we say, the ulama Shaykh ibn Taymiyyah said we can say Habib, but you can't stop by saying Habib. He deserves something greater than that, which is Khalil. Ibrahim is the Khalil of Allah. Where is the dalil for that? Umar, do you remember the proof for that?
Allah says in the Quran that He took Ibrahim as his Khalil.
Okay, وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Allah is taking Ibrahim as a Khalil. طيب. What's the dalil proof that Muhammad is the Khalil of Allah? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
He said himself in his hadith regarding the Ibrahim.
Okay, so إِنَّ اللَّهَ اتَّخَذَنِي خَلِيلًا كَمَا اتَّخَذَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Indeed, Allah is taking me as a Khalil, as He took Ibrahim alayhi salam as a Khalil. Also, to bear in mind, Ibn Qayyim has a book, Rawdatul Muhibbin. He talks about this. The question I've asked you, can you say Muhammad is Habib, Ibrahim Khalil, Musa Kalim? He speaks about that, and he points out that it is wrong to say, even batil is misguidance to say Muhammad Muhammad is just Habibullah. It's wrong, and it is not allowed to say that. You have to say Khalil, yes, because Mahabba is for everyone. طيب, can we say I don't know, Isa alayhi salam is Allah's Khalil? Can we say that?
No.
Why not?
I think he mentioned Khalil was only for two.
Two, yeah. Khulla was only for two people, two messengers, Muhammad and Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, and to say Isa is a Khalil of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is actually misguidance. It is a big mistake. It's wrong. It's, Allah never took him as a Khalil. But can I say this brother is my Khalil? Yeah, and the hadith is hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. سمعت من خليلي. I heard from a Khalil, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's okay. So let's continue, inshallah. Allah said, we'll go 2 more ayah to take, inshallah, one of the ayah. Allah said, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. This ayah is a part of the ayah when Allah said that Allah will come with people that He will love them and they will love Allah. It's from the verse when Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَنْ يَرْتَدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِي اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. All those who believe, whoever among you apostate from Islam, then Allah, meaning that Allah doesn't need you, He will come with people, Allah will love them and they will love Allah. Now what does murtad mean? The word irtad means someone left Islam. Now ridda means ruju'. Allah said, وَمَنْ يَرْتَدِدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِ فَيَمُتْ وَهُوَ كَافِرٌ. Okay? That وَمَنْ يَرْتَدِدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِ, that whoever apostate from Islam, رَجَعَ مِنْ دِينِهِ, he left his deen and he dies at a state of a disbeliever. طيب? So ridda lughatan ma'na ruju'. Linguistically ridda mean to return. Yeah. Islamically when we say ridda, mean he returned from Islam. It came out from Islam, yadu billah. He left Islam. طيب? So Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us that, whoever apostates from Islam, I don't need you. Okay? Nothing from the kingdom of Allah will benefit Allah Azza wa Jal if everyone became a believer. And if everyone were to become a disbeliever, nothing from Allah, from the kingdom of Allah will decrease. Allah doesn't need us. Okay? Because Allah can create again. He can create again that He loves them and they love Allah Azza wa Jal. Look at this ayah. يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. That He will love them. Shuhid mahabba here, the ayah indicates Allah sifa mahabba. At the same time, He affirmed they will love Allah, meaning that the creation has their attributes called mahabba as well. So this is called sifatul mushtarika, sifa which are shared, found in Allah and in the creation. And we have mentioned this before. Also Shaykhul Islam mentioned in Tadmuri as well. This attributes that you find in Allah and in the creation, hearing and seeing as well, knowledge, mahabba. This thing you find in Allah and the creation. Obviously, in terms of a degree, it differs. The love of Allah befits Allah. The love of the creation befits the creation. طيب. So, from this ayah, we establish that Allah has the attributes, mahabba, that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. The next verse we need to cover, inshallah, last verse in this chapter, with the many verses. Shaykhul Islam brings few verses. إن الله يحب الذين يقاتلون في سبيله صفا كأنهم بنيان مرصوص. Indeed, Allah loves, again, those who fight in the path of Allah. So he indicates ikhlas, that they fight in the path of Allah and jihad in rank, as if it like a building constructed together. طيب. So here, number one, we establish from this ayah that Allah is a mahabba. Okay? And He establishes mahabba for those people who fight in the path of Allah and jihad. طيب. This ayah talking about jihad, Sa'id bin Jubair mentioned that in this ayah Allah teaching the believers that they should how to fight in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. And in jihad, in battlefield, you fight in rank. Okay, you start with in a rank and then obviously move your way to fight. So Saffa is meaning the line. You have to have a line and you follow Amir. There are dawabi, the principles are there. طيب. So Allah loves those people who fight in the path of Allah and in jihad. And jihad is the highest ibadah, highest rank of ibadah in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Actually, who goes in the path of Allah to raise the word of Allah. So jihad is, Prophet established in the hadith, he said that jihad is the one who fight to raise the word of Allah. Okay? Not fighting for the land, language or for the flag or whatever. It's fighting to raise the word of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's jihad. طيب. Such person who goes out to fight is called mujahid. Then this is called jihad fi sabilillah. And the word fi sabilihi in its part refers that it is mukhlis, he's sincere. Someone can be in jihad, okay, actual jihad, but he's not sincere in what he's doing. So that's not fi sabilillah. It's fi sabil shaitan, fi sabil whatever, yadu billah. So we know the hadith, okay. طيب. So this ayah again established for us, it's evidence for us Allah has a mahabba. Okay? He has a mahabba that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Next one is, the next ayah, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. The last verse inshallah. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. He is Al-Ghafur and he is Al-Wadud. The two names of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's beautiful to learn the name of Allah and, increases our iman. And these things will remove the doubt in our heart about becoming, despair. So what does Al-Ghafur mean? The word Ghafara, the fi'l madi, past tense, Al-Azhari said, Ghafara asluhu satara taghtiya, which means to cover. To cover. So when we say Allah is Al-Ghafur, He covers. And we know from a lot of evidence in the Quran Sunnah, Allah covers the sins of the believers. Okay? Yawm al-Qiyamah, we spoke about Hisab, two types. Hisab al-Ard wa Hisab al-Tawbikh. Yani, Ard is, Prophet said in the Hadith, Man nuqisha Hisab udhiba. Front of Aisha, he said that whoever Hisab is reprimanded by Allah, he'll be punished. Then Aisha said, Allah said, Ya Rasulullah, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبْ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا. Indeed, Hisab will be easy. But he's saying he'll be reprimanded, he'll be punished. Then Rasulullah said, this is the one he's talking about. The ayah is Ard. Meaning that's when the believers will be taken forward. Okay? And Allah will say to the slave, "Oh my slave, you done this sin, this sin, this sin." He said, "Yes, my Lord, I've did this." He'll confess. And Allah will say, "You have covered your sin. I've covered it today." Satara is an important thing. We don't expose the sin. So as long as you cover, Allah will not expose you. Tayyib? And Allah covered believers' sin. Allah hastened to cover the sins of the believers, except Mujahirun. And the Sahabas, what is Mujahir, Ya Rasulullah? And they said, those who commit sin and they expose their sin to the people. Okay? It's not something nice. So, it's exposing your sin, like Imam Nawawi mentioned the Riyadh al-Salihin, it's like you're doing it. You're doing it. It doesn't make any difference. But I've drunk alcohol yesterday. It's like you drunk in front of the people. It doesn't make any difference. You're telling people your sin. طيب, so Al-Ghafur means that Allah covers the sin. طيب. Al-Afu is the forgiver. طيب, the next name of Allah, Al-Wadud. Al-Wadud has two meanings. One of the meaning is Al-Waddu. Al-Waddu, and fa'il, the one who loves. The one who shows his love to his believers. And we have covered many, many verses where Allah showed his love to them. Okay? And these attributes Allah expresses love for. Tawwabin, Mutatahhirin, Sabirin. These are the qualities that people have. Allah loves those. This is general mahabba Allah expressed to the slaves. Okay? And that includes Anbiya as well, no doubt. Tayyib. That's first meaning of Wadud. Second meaning of Wadud is Mawdud, Maf'ul, meaning he is loved as well. Okay? He is loved. Now, the way to express the love of Allah, the ulama have written books. Shaykhul Islam wrote Qawaidul Mahabba, principle pertaining love. He wrote a whole book on it. And he explains that, he quotes some of the Salaf, they said that Man yadda'i mahabbat Allah ولا يعبد الله فهو ادعاء فقط. كما قال, that whoever claims that he loves Allah, but he doesn't practice his deen, he doesn't obey Allah, he doesn't worship Allah, just a claim. And we mentioned some of the Salaf says that ليس الشأن أن تحب ولكن الشعب تحب. That the important part of the matter is that it's not you love Allah, but that you are loved by Allah. Because you can claim love of Allah, but does Allah love you? That's what the Jews did, isn't it? The Jews expressed their love for Allah. And Allah revealed a verse. As one of the Salaf said, this was a trial for the Jews, Yahud. When Allah said, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Prophet Allah said that, قُلْ, O Muhammad, say to the people, if you love Allah, then follow me. Allah will love you. So one of the way to show love of Allah is to worship Allah, to follow His command, and that is the sign of love of Allah. طيب? That's the sign of love of Allah. So Allah should be loved, and love of Allah is the fundamental principle of our deen. And love necessitates to worship Allah. Love, hope and fear. These are important part of our deen. So we have to have love of Allah. And someone to say, I don't love Allah, a'udhu billah, is against the Aqeedah. طيب. So Al-Wadud, he loves the believers, the righteous, and which is Al-Waddu, and Al-Mawdud, maf'ul, mean he is loved as well by the believers. And obviously one of the key important sign of a slave who loves Allah and Messenger is to obey them. It's to obey them. It's not just claim, it's to obey them also. طيب. Why did Ja'ad bin Dirham, why was he an assassin? Who remembers?
He said he denied some things from the Quran, like Ibrahim alayhi salam was taken as Khalil.
He was the Khalil?
Jannah and Jahannam will
Perish.
And some attributes of Allah.
Okay. That's one of the things he denied. What else?
He denied that Allah spoke to Musa.
Musa alayhi salam. So the point talks about Nuniyya, that Ja'ad was perished or executed by, what was the Khalifa's name? Khalid al-Qasri. He lived in time of Tabi'in in Iraq. And he actually mentioned that he's going to execute Ja'ad because he denied Allah spoke to Musa, and he denied Allah took Ibrahim as a Khalil. Most important part of our Aqeedah. So, and with Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Ja'ad bin Dirham and Jahan bin Safwan, they're out of all of Islam. So that was the reason he executed him, but obviously he did other bid'ah in Islam as well. طيب, let's start. So we've covered ayat that indicate love of Allah. So we have learned that Allah loves the believers and He should be loved, and these are some of the ayat of the Quran. The next topic, inshallah, we will discuss today. Shaykhul Islam brings, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, ayat on sifat of Ar-Rahmah. طيب, the first ayah, Surah An-Naml. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Actually, the ayah is Innahu min Sulaiman wa innahu Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is basmala, we say. It's ayah of Surah An-Naml, and there's no ikhtilaf on this. We have to believe that. But some of the ulama says, as for other than Naml, one of the opinion Ibn Abbas says, Bismillah is just to separate between the different surahs. So when you open a chapter of the Quran, end of the chapter come Bismillah, like that. So it's just a fasil, separation between every surah. Now, is Bismillah ayah min ayat Surah Al-Fatiha? Is Bismillah ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha? Some of the ulama says it is ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha because it's sab'a mathani, the 7 parables, and including Bismillah becomes 7. So they say that you have to say Bismillah when you read Surah Fatiha. That's one of the opinion, that Bismillah is ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha. Another opinion is that, I think Jumhur follow, that it is not ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha. And the evidence they bring is that Anas radiallahu anhu, it's one of the strong evidence, that he said, I prayed behind Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and they started their salah without saying Basmallah. طيب, that's one of the evidence. If you was part of ayah, then they would have said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. But saying nothing wrong with that. طيب, also, the hadith they use, hadith of this companion came in the masjid and he prayed, and he made mistake. On that hadith, Prophet doesn't say, he said, Iqra ma tayassara min al-Quran. Read whatever is easy for you to read from the Quran, but never say read Bismillah. But ala kulli hal, the ulama said Basmala is not ayah from ayah of Surah Fatiha. طيب. Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the ulama says that, hadith explains that the first prophet who uttered this word was Sulaiman alayhi salam. And then it was revealed to Prophet alayhi salam, Innahu min Sulaiman, innahu Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay? It is from Sulaiman and it is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So basically, after the Prophet wrote Basmala in his Risala, in his letters. طيب. Now, Bismillah, the ba, what the ba here means isti'ana, and the reason being isti'ana meaning support and aid. That's what indicates. Bismillah, ba for example, aqra musta'inan billah. I'm reading with the aid of Allah Azza wa Jal. So ba indicate isti'ana. Isti'ana, we explain what isti'ana, isn't it? Isti'ana, seeking aid, support in good things. طيب. So any verb you can use, any doing word, reading, eating, you can say أأكل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, meaning أأكل مستعينا بالله عز وجل بكل أسمائه, that I'm eating with the barakah, with the aid and support of Allah Azza wa Jal, by mentioning all His names. طيب. So here isti'ana is to seek aid. We need aid of Allah Azza wa Jal in everything anyway. We can't do anything without the aid of Allah Azza wa Jal. So ba here signifies isti'ana, which is mean aid and support. طيب. Then you have the name Allah, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. The ulama said these three names of Allah Azza wa Jal include the three types of Tawheed, Rububiyyah, Uluhiyyah, Asma and Sifat. Okay? So Allah, we covered this, what it means, isn't it? Indicates Uluhiyyah. طيب. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim indicates Al-Asma'i wa Sifat. And the ulama said that when you have Uluhiyyah, that includes Rububiyyah as well. Okay? Uluhiyyah mutadammin Rububiyyah. The Uluhiyyah includes Rububiyyah, meaning that if Allah deserves all the worship, automatically He's the Lord of the heaven and the earth. That come into it. Those two name of Allah, Allah and Ar-Rabb, they coincide with each other. They're connected basically. You can't take, it's like a wing of a bird. You can't separate them. Because Allah is Lord, He deserves the worship, and because He is the one who deserves the worship because He's the Lord of the heaven and the earth. طيب. So that's what Allah means. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. The two names of Allah. And the sifa is Ar-Rahmah. What is the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim? One of the ways the scholars explain is that Ar-Rahman means, here the sifa Rahmah, Am, for everyone. And some of the verses we're going to cover, like Rabbana wasi'ta kulla shayin rahmatan wa ilma, that, oh Lord, your knowledge and your mercy encompasses everything. So Ar-Rahman, sifa Rahmah, is general. Okay? Is general for everyone. Okay? So we have two Rahmah. Rahmah Am wal Khas. Rahmah Am, Rahmah general, which is for everyone. Muslim, non-Muslims, even non-Muslim, Allah have mercy on them. And their mercy to them is temporary for this dunya, and that is their health, their work, their provision, their shelter, all this. This is Rahmah from Allah Azza wa Jal. And Rahmah for the believers is dunya and akhirah. The dunya is that Allah protect them from enemies' guidance, Islam, the ibadah, the action, all these things. These are part of Rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah keeps us firm in the deen. Tayyib, that's Rahmah in dunya. Also halal food, that's part of Rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Rahmah khas is for the believers. وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا. That is the Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah is Rahim for the believers. That's Yawm al-Qiyamah, when Allah will enter them in Jannah. And we have hadith that I want to mention this inshallah. Ayah, first I'm going to mention the ayah inshallah. Allah said, "Udkhulul jannata bima kuntum ta'malun." Enter the Jannah for the action that you have done. And another ayah Allah said, "Tilka al-jannatu allati urithumuha bima kuntum ta'malun." That is the Jannah you have inherited because of what you have done. So Allah is saying that enter Jannah because of your action. We have a hadith that says, "La yadkhulul jannata ahadun bi'amalihi." Okay, none of you will enter Jannah because of your action. That's the Prophet, even you. He said, even me, unless Allah have wrapped me up in His mercy. Mercy of Allah, Rahmah, I will enter Jannah. So the scholar says, in the ayah, Allah said you're going to enter Jannah because of your worship. In the hadith, you will not enter Jannah because of your action. Okay, so what is the Jam'ah? So they say that the ayah, talking about Basababiyya, because of your action. So because of our action, we worship Allah Azza wa Jal. It's a mean, isn't it? We take the mean and we enter Jannah, and Allah will put us in Jannah based on our good deed. So whatever good deed that you do, okay, you're going to enter Jannah. So Abu Bakr Siddiq will enter the highest Jannah, no doubt. Not everybody going to enter highest Jannah based on the a'mal, based on the iman and action. Not everybody is same. طيب. So our that's why it's 7 Jannah, and they are not on the same level. Allah knows that not everyone will go to Jannah al-Firdaus. Okay, there will be in lowest Jannah, but they are not like Abu Bakr. So Abu Bakr a'mal is greater than any believers after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب. There is Prophet said, the hadith, Prophet said that I have given you the company, I've paid you back for what you have done for me. Everything that you have done for me, I paid you back. Okay? Except Abu Bakr. I can't pay Abu Bakr because he done so much for me. I left it to Allah to pay him back. Subhanallah. So, he will enter Jannah because of his a'mal or not? Yes. Is Fir'aun going to enter Jannah? Abu Talib going to enter Jannah? No, they haven't got good deed. They haven't done good deed. There's no sabab. There's no mean they've taken to enter Jannah. The only mean they've taken is the kufr, which they're going to take them to the hellfire. Yadu billah. Tayyib. So, ba hiya ba sababiyya. Obviously, you worship Allah, enter Jannah. What is the hadith then? The hadith, none of you, Prophet said, he said, la yadkhul al-jannah ahadun bi'amalihi. None of them, impossible. None of you will enter Jannah because of your action. People say it's contradiction. It's no contradiction. This bahiya bi'amalihi iwad. Iwad, tabadul. Sheikh says istihqaq. Meaning that none of you will enter Jannah because of your action, deserving Jannah. You never can buy Jannah. You never can buy it. You know the man who will face Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, he worshipped Allah for 500 years. طيب. He will come to Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will say, Anta my slave to Jannah, okay, because of my mercy. Slave will say, he's not going to deny that, but he'll say, Allah, I worshipped you for 500 years. I want to enter Jannah because of my a'mal, because of my good deed. Say, okay. It's okay. He will call the malaika, say, yeah, malaika, whoever the malaika, manjul is, put the blessing that I gave him for eyes, the blessing I gave him, put him in one scale, and put his 500 years of ibadah in one scale. All this action that he has done will be lighter than the blessing Allah gave him. So Allah will say, take him to the hellfire. He will say, oh Allah, enter me Jannah through your mercy. Allah will put him in Jannah. What does it show? You can't worship Allah the way he deserves. You never can worship Allah the way he deserves. You never can not earn. You can earn Jannah, but you cannot make up. You know, if I have $500,000, I can go and buy Ferrari, isn't it? I give you $500,000, you give me the Ferrari. Have I paid it back? It's equal, isn't it? What hadith saying? Your a'mal is not equal to Jannah. You cannot make it up. You can't buy Jannah with the a'mal. Allah will put you because of His mercy. Because you worshipped Him. Yes, definitely. Look at this. Allah, meaning that you never can enter Jannah without tawfiq. If the Messenger of Allah is the greatest messenger, sinless, never committed sin, even he can enter Jannah with his a'mal. Except Allah have mercy on him. But Allah is Ar-Rahman. He will put us in Jannah because of good deed. But it doesn't mean we deserve it in a sense that we earned it. We deserve it in a sense that I'm a believer. I deserve it in a sense that I worshipped Allah. I deserve that, inshallah. But it doesn't mean my a'mal, action will buy the Jannah. You can't. You haven't got the a'mal. You haven't got the money. You can't buy it. So that's what the hadith is saying. Denying the istihqaq, that you deserve Jannah. You can buy the Jannah. Like you can't buy it. Tayyib. So that's the jump between the hadith and the ayat. Tayyib. The rahmah of the believers in akhirah is that they'll be admitted to Jannah, and we know other ayat in the Quran where Allah promised inna lil muttaqina mafaza, in lil muttaqin hadha mafaz, way out, and other verses. طيب, so here Rahman and Rahim. So Rahman, Rahmah is two times, we've explained that. So Rahman, that's one of the ways to explain. Mercy, general mercy. Rahim, Rahmah, specific mercy for the believers. That's one way to explain. Another way Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah explains is that Rahman on the pattern of fa'alan, meaning that, maximizing mercy. A lot of mercy, okay, meaning zu rahma. He has a lot of mercy, okay. And Rahim, they say ala wazn fa'il, meaning it is action. He shows the mercy to the believers, which Allah will show Yawm al-Qiyamah to the believers, inshallah. So Rahman, Rahma is Dhu Rahma, Wasi'a. He has a lot of mercy. And Rahim, it is the action that he will show mercy to the believers, Yawm al-Qiyamah, at the end, inshallah. Okay? So that's the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Let's continue the next verse, inshallah. رَبَّنَا وَسِعْتَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ رَحْمَةً وَعِلْمًا. Oh Lord, your rahmah, your mercy and your knowledge encompasses everything. طيب? So that's general rahmah. Okay? هذا عام. Rahmah عامة. General rahmah. That Allah's mercy encompasses everything. Now you can see the athar, the effect of it. General everyone. Muslim, non-Muslims. They have mercy of Allah. Obviously non-Muslims don't recognize that. But look at they have kids, they have work, they have health, they have everything. That's from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Am general, everyone has this mercy. Ilma, Allah's knowledge encompasses everything. And we covered this a few chapters ago, knowledge of Allah. Allah's knowledge encompasses everything. Nothing in the heaven and the earth escapes from the knowledge of Allah. Because everything happened, Allah has knowledge of that. Okay, everything. So that's, again, we learn from this is that rahmah. رَبَّنَا وَسِعْتَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ رَحْمَةً وَعِلْمًا. And always we have to bear witness, we have to understand is that rahmah of Allah is more than the wrath. Okay? As Allah said, إِنَّ رَحْمَتِي تَغْلِبُ غَضَبِي. إِنَّ رَحْمَتِي تَغْلِبُ غَضَبِي. That my rahmah is superior than my wrath. Or I have more mercy than my wrath. Allah has mercy and wrath, but mercy is more greater than the wrath. طيب. So that's second verse that indicates that Allah has mercy, general mercy for everyone. طيب, let's go to the next verse. الآيات الثالثة وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا. Rahmah khassa hadi. This is a specific rahmah Allah will show to his believers on the day of judgment. And that is Jannah. Allah will show believers to mercy to them by entering to Jannah. Even the Muslim who goes to the hellfire, they will be burned. Allah will show them mercy by taking them out of the hellfire and put them in Jannah. طيب. So this is again rahmah khassa for the believers. The next verse, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. And my mercy encompasses everything. This here, general. It's same as the verse we covered two verse before, that nothing in the heaven and earth except Allah has mercy for them. We see certain countries, Muslim countries, been going through difficulties. They go through some trials, but the mercy is that they'll be inshallah in Jannah. They will be in Jannah. But Allah's mercy encompasses generally everything. That's Muslims and non-Muslims. طيب. Allah's mercy encompasses everything. كتب ربكم على نفسه الرحمة. Your Lord has wrote for for himself الرحمة. Meaning that كتب here means مكتوبة. Allah said كتب عليكم الصيام. كتب من فريضة. The fasting has been prescribed to you. So kataba min kutiba, yani furida. Allah has made fard on himself. And there's other hadith al-Qudsi, when Allah said, inni ja'altu inni haramtu li nafsi dhulma. Inni haramtu li nafsi dhulma. That indeed I have made haram on myself dhulm. Allah made it on himself haram. Oppression. Again here, same way of explaining is that Allah made fard on himself rahmah. The other one he forbade himself, okay, oppression from himself. But here Allah wrote himself, yani made fard on himself that he is merciful, and that's from the bounty of Allah Azza wa Jal, that Allah is most merciful. Okay, and He shows mercy to the believers. Also, Allah shows mercy to the disbelievers by giving the ni'mah, even and guiding them as well, and they become Muslim. Right? That's fadlullah, virtue of Allah Azza wa Jal, that He is merciful. And Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, again you can understand, Rahman is the name only for Allah Azza wa Jal, is ablagh min Rahim, more greater in mercy, in a sense that it's general. Ar-Rahim is only specifically for the believers. Tayyib, so Allah wrote for Himself Rahmah. So if we believe Allah is Ar-Rahim, merciful, that should make us, encourage us more to make dua, have hope in Him. You know, He's merciful. You know, we shouldn't become despair of His mercy. Yadhu billah. You know, so that's why we study the names, to help our iman get stronger and help us to worship Allah better, inshallah. Because, you know, don't be surprised that people, I'm sure you meet or you met, become very despair in mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. And, you know, yadhu billah, and that could be enough for a person to enter Jahannam. Obviously they're ignorant, they don't know. But this is what we're learning, these names of Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib, the next verse Shaykhul Islam brings is that وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. The next verse, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. We've covered al-Ghafur, what it means, and Rahim also we covered. Nothing to mention much, but one thing we can say, you know, these names of Allah, Al-Ghafur, Al-Ghaffar, Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, these are called mubalagha. Names, a mubalagha shows the maximize. So when we say Allah Al-Ghafur, He always covers the sin. Always. It's not once I've covered the sin of my slave, I'm not going to cover it anymore. Al-Ghafur, always He covers it. Tayyib. Al-Ghaffar kadhalik also fa'al, meaning that maxima, He covers the sins of the believers. Al-Rahim, al-wad fa'il, meaning mubalagha, extreme, a lot, shows that Allah is very merciful. Very merciful. It's not, name of Allah is not Ar-Rahim. You never find Allah's name is Ar-Rahim. It's mufa'il, the one who shows mercy. Because the difference between Ar-Rahman and Rahim, inshallah, if I say Fulanul Rahim, He's merciful. Meaning that He might be merciful once He showed mercy, help you carry your bag or something like that. Okay? But Rahim, Ar-Rahman is always. It's not just once, always. That in the hadith says, Ar-Rahimun yarhamhumur Rahman. Rahimun, Allah is using for the human. Those humans showed mercy, okay? Yarhamhumur Ar-Rahman. Allah show mercy to them. Yarhamu man fil ard, yarhamukum man fis sama. So, show mercy to the one in the earth, and the one who is above the throne, Allah Ar-Rahman, will show mercy to you. So, Ar-Rahim shown, it is for the believers, human being, not a human being. Okay? But Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman is two names of Allah. So you can't say Allah's name is Ar-Rahim, or you can't say Allah is Abdul Rahim. You never find that, Ar-Rahim. That pattern, you will not find it. The pattern is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. So all the name of Allah, mubalagha, maximizing, because that's how Allah is. Even Al-Mateen, okay, comes in mubalagha because it's very strong, He's very powerful. Al-Jabbar. These names, all the names of Allah, mubalagha, to indicate the maximize, showing the greatness of it. So, but when we look at the name, beautiful Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Ghafur, Al-Ghaffar, Al-Halim, Al-Hakim, all mubalagha. طيب. There's a hadith, إن الله عز وجل يخلو يوم القيامة بعبده ويقرره بذنوبه يقول عملت كذا وعملت كذا حتى يقر يعني عبد فيقول الله عز وجل قد سترتها عليك في الدنيا قد سترتها عليك في الدنيا وأنا أغفرها لك اليوم. So Allah, this hadith Bukhari and Muslim, Ibn Umar. So hadith says that Allah will bring a slave Yawm al-Qiyamah and you will remind him of the sins that he committed. You did this, you did this, you did this. You say, Hatta yuqir, the slave will confess, yes, I did, O my slave. Allah will say, I have covered your sin in dunya, and I will cover it in akhirah as well. So ghafara, satara. So that's the name of Allah, Al-Ghafur. And he, as we said, Al-Ghafur, Fa'ul mean, he always covers the sin. And a slave might be committing sins so many times, and he feels guilty, still Allah is covering his slave, he's exposed, because Allah is covering the slave of his slave from that sin. So people don't see he's committing the sin, Yadu Billah. The next verse we'll cover inshallah. فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين. Allah is the best of the protector, and He is the most merciful, Ar-Rahimin, from the merciful one, meaning the creation. And this is talking about Yusuf alayhi salam, when he sent his son Yusuf with the children, and what happened, and they came and complained about Yusuf alayhi salam being beaten by the wolf. And then he put trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. فَاللَّهُ خَيْرٌ حَافِظًا. Allah is the best of the protector. طيب. وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. He's the most merciful from the merciful one. So here Allah Azza wa Jal, Arham. Okay, Ismu Tafdil, the most merciful from the merciful one. Yani the creation. Shows that the creation has mercy as well. The creation has mercy as well. And Ar-Rahimin, referring to us. Allah is most merciful than us. And the many evidence to say Allah is most merciful. One of the Salaf was about to pass away, or Sufyan al-Thawri was about to pass away. Another Imam comes in and is talking to Sufyan al-Thawri, and they're talking, and what happened is that, last moment of his life, Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, he raised his raja in Allah Azza wa Jal, and the Imam also giving raja to Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah. And what happened is that this Imam saying that if I had a choice between Allah to judge me and my mother to judge me, I would want Allah to judge me, because He is most adil, most just, most ar-Rahman and most ar-Rahim. I want Allah to judge me. Allahu Akbar. So here, Yaqub alayhi salam, he put all his trust in Allah Azza wa Jal, even what they are saying, and He's most merciful from the merciful one. And we have a hadith, Prophet was narrating a story about this lady, she took a baby and she squeezed it against her chest. And Prophet said, would you think that mother would throw the baby into the fire? They said, no, Ya Rasulullah, mother will never throw her baby into the fire. Why is she so merciful? Because Allah's hadith said that Allah created mercy 100 parts. And these are not mercy of Allah, mercy of the creation. Allah Azza wa Jalla created the mercy of human being 100 parts, and He kept 99 to Himself. He gave 1 part to the creation of Allah. Human, animal, bird, everyone. And that 1 part is the effect of this woman, that she will not throw her baby into the fire. Because of 1 part has an effect in her, she will save her baby. She loves the baby. And Allah made her love the baby. Allah put the mercy in her to love the baby. And Prophet said, Allah is more merciful to the baby than she is merciful to her own child. Look at mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal, Arhamur Rahimin. So, my brothers, these are some of the verses that we have covered today regarding the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Inshallah, next week we'll discuss the rida, the pleasure of Allah, happiness of Allah Azza wa Jal. Jazakumullah khair. Any question, inshallah? I'll clarify.
So I remember in lesson 1, I think.
Lesson 1, the very first lesson you're talking about.
Yeah, when you're talking about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. I think the description you gave was.
So it's not the ayah, yeah? The first ayah you're talking about.
No, lesson 1 of this.
When I explain Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Yeah.
Okay.
The description you gave was possessor of mercy and giver of mercy. Would that be correct? Still?
Yeah. Possessor of mercy and giver of mercy. Yeah. Ar-Rahman, possessor. Ar-Rahim, giver. Because that's what Ibn Qayyim says. Dhu rahma wasi'a. Dhu, possess, Lord of Rahmah. That's general. And disposer of mercy is Ar-Rahim. But only for the believer Yawm al-Qiyamah. That's what Ibn Qayyim says. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen also explains it as well. Yeah.
But that translation is in some of the Quran.
Yeah.
It's in lesser.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good translation the brother gave, yeah.
Because it says ذاتي and فعلية.
Yeah, that yeah, yeah.
But that translation
So that,
goes against the grain a little bit.
yeah, so that, the first part is, he attributes of sifa rahma. The second is, he has sifat of rahma, but fi'liya, doing, he's showing to the believers, yeah. Yeah.
So can you not refer to Allah as Al-Rahman?
Yeah,
You say Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim.
yeah, the two names of Allah.
No, can you not say just one? Say Allah is Al-Rahman.
Yeah. The two names of Allah, but the meaning carries two different ways. Because Allah has a lot of mercy. And at the same time, He shows mercy as well to the believers. Understand? That's what it is. That's the difference between those two names.
The other day I came across a narration about the people of Bani Israel when the rain was withheld from them because of a man who was sick.
Yeah, 40 years.
Would you be able to narrate that again? I can't fully remember exactly what.
Okay. Basically, what it is, Musa alayhi salam was commanded by Allah to take the Bani Israel. And if you read the Seerah of Musa alayhi salam, you realize the Rasulullah, how much tawakkul he had. He took Bani Israel out and he came to the River Nile, the Red Sea. Obviously, he was between two mountains, and in front of him the River Nile, and behind him is Pharaoh coming. So the people are panicking. And he said, Musa, you brought us here, you're bad omen, and you're this and that, we're going to die, what's going to happen to us? Look, you can't save us. And he said, my Lord promised me to save me. Okay? And he had 100% tawakkul upon Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. But eventually we know the story. The River Nile opened up by the will of Allah, and then khalas, they crossed. But what it is, there was a man in Bani Israel, in that group, there was a person, we don't know who he is, we don't know his name. Tayyib. So Musa alayhi salam, there was a drought. So Musa alayhi salam asked Allah, oh Allah, send me rain. So Allah said, Musa, I'm not going to send you rain, I'm going to prevent your rain today, because there's a slave of mine, he disobeyed me for 40 years and never repented to me. So Musa alayhi salam got really upset, and he said, oh my Lord, what shall I do then? He said, tell him to leave. So how am I going to tell him to leave? 70,000 of Bani, then he can't hear me. So Allah said, you speak, I'll make him hear you. So he spoke, and the man heard. And he looked around, and he realized it is him. Okay? So he said to himself, he said, oh Allah, if I leave, then I'll be exposed. And if I don't leave, there'll be no rain. So he said, oh Allah, forgive me. Atubu ilayk. I'm making repentance to you. I'm coming to you as a ta'ib. Okay? A ta'ib, kama laysa lahu dhanb. Hadith says that true repentance is like he hasn't committed sin. So he came with sincerely to Allah, pure heart. Oh Allah, I'm coming to you. Forgive me. I'm coming to you as a ta'ib. Rain starts coming. Allah accept his tawbah. So, but it doesn't finish here. But for me, the sweetest thing is the end of the hadith. So Musa said, Ya Allah, you're giving me rain now, but you said you're not going to give it to me. He said, my slave has made tawbah. Because of him, I stopped your rain. Because of him, now I'm giving you rain. So he's a important person now, isn't it? So he said, Ya Allah, show me who this person is. Now, I love that bit. He said, oh Musa, my slave committed sin 40 years hiddenly. Showed that he was shy, but he did it whatever. We don't know what sin he is. And he kept it hidden, and I kept it hidden as well. Do you think I'm going to expose him now after he repented to me? This sin is between him and my slave. Between me and my slave. I'm not going to tell you who this person is. Look at the Lord of the heaven and the earth. Allah doesn't want to expose. He's Al-Ghafur. He covered the sin. Unless we want to expose, Ya'udhu Billah. So Allah's character is, sifa is Al-Maghfirah. Mastura, the one who covers the sin. His characteristic is not to expose us, unless we want to be exposed, Ya'udhu Billah. So we have to have this Aqeedah. Obviously, it doesn't mean that we openly sin now, Ya'udhu Billah, and make a plan to commit sin. Allah is Ghafur. No, this is part of shaitan, Ya'udhu Billah. But we have to understand, but at the same time, we shouldn't become despair of mercy of Allah. Okay? So Allah kept his sin hidden, and that's the story of, this is an amazing story, how Allah covered his sin. Allahu Akbar. Yeah. And we brothers have to be like that as well. That it's not only for Allah to cover our sin. If we see a brother committing sin and you can help him, help him. But don't expose his sin. No, he committed this. A'udhu billah. We don't do it for them. Man satara musliman satara Allah fi dunya wal akhirah. That whoever covers his brother's sin, Allah will cover his yawm al-qiyamah. So it's a very important principle that we should cover our brother's sin, not expose his sin. Imam An-Nawawi mentioned that you can expose his mistake, sin, to help him, to bring him together. So if your brother is, for example, he's alcoholic, he prays and all that, but he has some weakness, and he still go back to Jahiliyyah, and go drinks alcohol. And he saw him drinking alcohol, and he said, Akhi, come. This brother come to our class, or we know him practicing, he prays and everything, but his weakness is that he drinks alcohol. Let's go and help him out. That's okay, because the maslaha is not to expose him for humiliate him, but to bring him out from this sin. That's okay, you can do that, inshallah. But generally we shouldn't expose the sin of brothers just for undermining him, to put him down, humiliate him in front of the public. A'udhu billah. It's not allowed. Islam didn't say that. We have to cover the sin. Unless a person committing sin, affecting the public, because of him, mafsada is being created, then we should be exposed. He should be exposed. Okay? But normally, if a brother commits sin, he knows he's doing wrong. He doesn't want to be exposed. We don't know what it is. Find out why he's doing this. Help him out. Don't expose the brother. Don't cause him to run away. Bring him and help him. And many example. When Ma'id committed zina, he went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sahaba was sitting there. Did Prophet expose him? Did Allah expose him? La. When the Ghamidiyya woman came, Sahabiya committed zina, and she came to Prophet and she said to Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, I've committed zina. Please purify me. Stone me to death. Prophet didn't found difficult. He turned his head 3 times. Go make tawbah. But she was insisting. But Prophet didn't expose her, nor did Allah expose her. But she's revealing ayah. Look at Allah Azza wa Jalla, He covered her sin. So we have to be like that. Cover the sins of the brothers, others. Don't expose in front of other people, inshallah. Jazakumullah. When Shaykh bin Baz also, when he reminded his brother who fell into zina, see, YouTube you can get this. The Shaykh said 2 things. Make tawbah sincerely, and do not expose your sin. Because exposing can be a major sin. It's how you expose it. If you're loving it and you're enjoying it, a'udhu billah, then it can be a major sin. So alhamdulillah, so Allah is al-Ghafoor, He covers the sin of the believers. Jazakumullah khair.
One last question, because of what you said, just thought something. Within our community, there's a lot of fitna, a lot of haram stuff happening, especially within even the Muslims. Like, for example, people sell alcohol, or some people sell drugs, for example. Say you know certain people that are on this path, and they're Muslims, they believe in Allah, and you advise them personally in private, and they don't take the advice and they carry on doing this haram and spreading the fitna amongst the society.
That's a good example.
Would that be wrong to go and maybe expose him to certain authorities to?
Yeah, you should. They should be exposed, because they're taking our brothers, other people, to drugs, akhi. Okay, they're affecting others, other family, children. Okay, and the masters, the greater masters, on top of that, akhi, they kill one another. So he should be exposed in a sense that be aware of that person, and if you can take him to authority, and then take him. This is classic example. That drug dealers have to be exposed, no doubt. He's affecting everybody else. He's not just for himself. He's selling to other people. He's selling to other one. He's selling to other one. It's a network. And there are places I know the drug deal goes on. A certain place in Watchable we know. And brother saw it. And he told them to leave. And you can smell it when you go there. Yadu billah. And when someone drinks alcohol, he only for himself. I'm only drinking alcohol just for myself. I'm enjoying it. That type of people should be exposed. But drinking alcohol is open anyway. Zina, people do hiddenly. Help the person, don't expose him. But he's not taking anybody else. He's weak. He fell into that act. Just advise him. But drug dealers have to be exposed, because they're taking 100 of them with them and affecting 100 of them. Yadu billah. So they should be exposed in a way that they should be caught, taken to the authority. They should be exposed. Yeah. Next moment will be your son, your child, your daughter. Why? Because the man hasn't been exposed. That's one. Sahir, you can't do sahir by yourself. You do it to others to affect the community. They should be exposed as well. These people should be exposed. Yeah. Go on,